Member for Chilliwack-Kent.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. This week marks Victims and Survivors of Crime Week. The goal of this week is to raise awareness about the issues facing victims of crime and the services, assistance, and laws in place to help victims and their families. The theme is the power of collaboration, an important one because we know it takes all of us to be dedicated to prevention and support the victims and survivors of crime. In December, we announced Safe and Supported, BC's Gender-Based Violence Action Plan. This plan and its actions were informed through the power of collaboration, and I extend my continuing gratitude to the voices and stories that echo throughout the pages and the work. This year, British Columbia is dedicating over $50 million in programs and services for victims and survivors, with several important developments to expand supports and options, including new programs to support survivors of sexual assault with counselling and practical assistance, now offered in 70 locations. 5 sexual assault centres to provide wraparound services to survivors. Amendments to the Crime Victim Assistance Act to better support victims in their recovery from the impacts of violent crime. In BC, over 450 programs are funded to provide supports to victims and survivors, including a provincial information and support line, victim services, intimate partner violence units, outreach services to communities, including immigrants and newcomers, and counselling for people who experience violence. There are also programs working to break the cycles of violence by providing support to children and youth who witness violence in their families. The impact of crime on a victim, survivor, their family, their community are not always easily seen. It often takes extraordinary bravery for victims and survivors of crime and their families to come forward and talk about the trauma they've experienced, and we know that not everyone feels safe enough to do so. This week, we honour the strength and the resilience of survivors and sincerely thank the many dedicated service providers working to support victims, prevent crime, and protect those who are most vulnerable in our communities.